Hello, I'm Xander. Welcome to this SQL Fundamentals Query Challenge number 4. As per usual, you can follow this challenge like a tutorial as a beginner learning SQL, or you can use it to test your existing skills. If you don't have a computer, no problem. Try writing it out by hand. It's a great way to practice, and you can compare your answers to the solutions provided. The challenge for this one is to write an SQL query to return all products under or connected to a specific category from the category and products table. Take a look at the requirements. We need to select the following columns: category ID, category name, product name, price. So the query must return only products that belong to a given category. We must select category by name, not ID, and we need to order the results by product name in ascending order. That's the plan. You can find the link to this repository connected to this tutorial and read through it yourself, but there is some sample data here. If you're not happy with that, of course, you can check out the entity relationship diagram to help you further understand the database. And of course, if that isn't enough, the SQL is provided, so you can have a look through that as well in this init SQL file. If you are setting this up and you find yourself in a bit of a pickle, then do check out the first challenge in this series. I take you through the setup step by step. Good luck with the challenge. If you need any help with solutions and explanations, just stick around. I'll walk you through the whole process and solutions. Assuming you want to, let's take a look at the setup and solution for this challenge. I've gone ahead and downloaded this challenge, opened this up in Visual Studio Code. I'm going to run Docker Compose to start all the containers. All the instructions are in the setup, so start the container. Let's go ahead and access the container, and then let's log in to the database, and we can start writing our query. Double check if you like using DT. That will show you a list of all the tables that we have in this database. Right, so let's take a look at the solution. So first of all, we need to select some data, of course, and we are told which fields we need. I think it's category ID, category name. So we are specifying the table and the field because we are going to select from multiple tables here. Let's not forget that. So category name. Now we could use aliases here, but I'm going to show you the full version first, and then you'll see why an alias is probably a good idea. So products.id, just from memory, products, apologies if I got this wrong, products.name, and I think it was the price, wasn't it? Products.price. So those are all the fields I think that we needed to select. You can just double check that. So category ID, name, product ID, name, and price. Right, so we've now selected all of the fields of the data we want to return. So now we just need to, and there, no idea what's happened there. Okay, it's not refreshed. Right, so the second line, I press enter, second line. So you should be in the area with just a single dash now to refer to the second line of this query. So where are we going to get that data from? Well, we're going to start with products. Okay, so let's start from the product side, and we're going to need to build a join. So we need to determine what type of join we're going to use, and I think an inner join is the solution here because we only want to return products and category that are related to each other. So an inner join would be probably the best solution in this case. So back to the query, let's just specify join. So to create an inner join, and then we need to specify the next table we want to make a join with. So we start from products, and then we're going to move across to the category table to make a join from products to category. And then we need to specify the relationship fields on both tables. So for this, if you need to, check out the ERD diagram. It's probably be helpful at this point to better understand what we're doing here. So we have the category table and product table. So the foreign key, we have a one-to-many relationship from category to product. So we're going to query from the product side. So you can see that the relationship needs to be defined from the foreign key in the product. So that's category ID to the primary key of the category table. So we need to tell the database about that relationship. So products, product table, we have a field called category dot or underscore ID. And then on the other side, we have category dot ID. Okay, so we defined our join and how we need to build that join based upon what fields. So that's the foreign key in the products and the primary key of category. Right, so once that's done, we need to do a little bit of filtering at this point. So we need to filter out products and categories by category name. So let's go for category dot name and then equals. So we're going to need a category. So we don't know what categories unless we take a look at the data. So let's take a look at the category data. This is the data that's inserted into the database. So we can see here that we have a category called electronics. Okay, so maybe we try that. And what we need to do is, well, we can inspect the database, but we're just going to use this data. All right, so let's go to products. And you can see that the ID, then category ID. So you can see that these records here are connected to that category in the database via the category ID. Okay, so these records, these products are connected via the foreign key value to the primary key of the category. Yes. So that means that we can definitely use electronics because that should potentially return 3 products. Yep, so it looks like only 3 products are connected to that category. And then we're told we need to order by. So let's use order by. I think that was products.name. So we're going to order by product's name in ascending order. I think we were told. Let's give it a go. So based upon the data I can see here that's inserted into the database, it looks like it's going to be 3 products. So it looks like we've got a problem here. Now, can you spot the problem? Well, we're told here it's on line 4 and we're pointing to electronics, but can you work out why that is? Well, first of all, it's really annoying when you make a mistake when you're using the command line here because it's not necessarily easy to replicate that. But what we can do is press up on the keyboard and we can then use left and right keys to kind of move back. And let's try this again, but this time let's wrap this in doubles. See what happens when I try and press down from that point. So what I need to do is just wrap that up in doubles using my keyboard left and right, and then go right. If I press down, it's going to disappear. So press enter at the end, and we still have a problem. So this is just one of those problems which can take far too long to solve, but is really simple. So the rule here is that in PostgreSQL, double quotes are used for identifiers such as columns or table names, and single quotes are used for string values, such as in this case, electronics. So let's do that one more time. And this time we're going to use a single. Notice when I press down there, it completely removes that, and I have to do it again. So don't press down. Okay, let's move across. There are quicker ways of doing that, but just make it nice and simple. So you can see using left and right on my keyboard and then making the changes, press enter, and there we go. Now we can probably do better here because we have ID name, and it's not very descriptive. It's not very easy to read. So can we make changes there? So if you have a look at the solutions file, or unless you want to try this yourself first before seeing that, to see if you can use aliases to change the names of the fields to make them a little bit more readable and relevant to the data that it's connected to. So here's the solution. Here we're using aliases to change the names of the fields that are used in the output so that we can identify the category, distinguish the category data, from the product data, as well as you see these P's beforehand here. So instead of us having to write out the full name every time we define a field, we can use these alias names, and that's generated here, for example, a bit further along in the query. So category C, so referring here to the fact that anything with C, or where we use C, it's referring to the category table. And if we take a look at P, when we define products first, we use P after the name of the table, indicating the fact that anywhere else in the query, we use the letter P as referring to the products table. This makes the query sometimes a little bit more readable, but ultimately using these aliases for field names is going to make it nicer for us to view the data when it's outputted. So let's try this. We should be able to copy and paste this in. Give us a go. And let's take a look. And there we go. So we now have longer names, of course, but it's a little bit more descriptive and easier to identify the category and product data that's returned. And there we go. So that is the solution for Query Challenge 4. Now, there's quite a few takeaways here in respects of if you're new to aliases, you've now seen an example of using both table and column aliases. And it does, particularly when you start to create much longer SQL statements or queries, they do come in very handy. As you've seen in this example, writing out the name of the table for every single field, that's a little bit tedious and unnecessary if you utilize alias system. Also, don't forget when you want to compare or utilize strings in the query to use the single and not the doubles. It's such a common mistake to make and very frustrating when you are using the command line.